Michael, we're now at the end of the training camp here in Cork. How beneficial has the trip been?
We've had a great week here, to be honest. We've been blessed with great weather as well, which is nice. Warm, but not too warm. Not the type of weather that you would be concerned about the players training in it for too long. So we've been able to work very hard. A lot of double sessions and a lot of good work with the team. A lot of younger players here as well. So yeah, I think everyone's had a good time. The venue's terrific, and we obviously have the game later today, and then we'll go back tomorrow. And it's been a successful week.
How important is it to have the right facilities and the right weather in this sort of situation?
It's very important because not only for the players that we've brought in, we have 5 players that we've brought into the club, but even for the younger players that were already at the club, it's important for them because they get to mix, they spend time together. They don't do this whilst we go away during the season on an overnight for an away game. It's different from this, so it helps form relationships within the squad, how players are with each other, and also it gives us the opportunity to see the players and how they interact with each other off the pitch as well. So the venue's been terrific for that. The players have plenty of freedom around here. They don't feel like they're caged in any way, and the training pitch is a 5-minute walk, and we had the benefit of 2 training pitches which were excellent. Both be able to be watered every day, and so the surface was slick, and it was sometimes at this time of the season when you go away the pitches can be very hard and players struggle a little bit with that, and they pick up little bumps and bruises or blisters and stuff like that. So we've had none of those types of situations to be are very limited, and it's been a very good facility for the medical team as well, I think, to look after the players, and with the gym on site beside the pitches as well, it's worked very well.
I suppose the trips allows you to do quite a bit off the pitch with the players, different sort of activities to build that team spirit.
Yeah, we've done a few things. Obviously we had golf here that was available. Didn't really get the opportunity to play. I think they only got to play 9 holes, to be honest. Then we had the escape rooms, which they spent an afternoon in there, which I think was a very good team building exercise. Again, particularly for the younger ones, because it brings them out of themselves a little bit. We've had a barbecue here on an evening, and we'll have that again later this evening after the game. And as I say, the players, there's been bikes, there's been tennis, there's been a lot for them to do around the hotel as well.
Have your new signings settled in?
Very well, I think. We knew what we were getting with the different types of lads. Josh Laurent's a very bubbly lad, so he's a very upbeat type of character, and he brings that to the training every day. And also the other lads, the likes of Gavin Kilkenny, Liam McCarran, have settled in very well. Harry Clark, for a young player, again seems to have settled in extremely well, part of the group as well. And Aidan Flint, we knew what we were getting, in the sense that we were signing someone with real leadership qualities, a real man, and again he's fitted into the group extremely well.
I suppose the trips allow you to take a closer look at some of the younger players. I mean, you've got 2 16-year-olds out here with you.
Yeah, it has, and some of them we have had before, when they go away on loan, the likes of Eddie Jones, in particular, Will Goodwin, again joining back in for pre-season. Connor Taylor, obviously, who was away last season at Bristol Rovers. It gives us a good chance to assess them and see where we are. Are they ready to sort of be around the squad on a more regular basis? Thomas Barrow's had a very, very good pre-season. I think he's trained excellently. And the 2 young kids that you mentioned, obviously, Emery and Jack Griffiths, have both shown up extremely well. I think we know, obviously, Emery, has a lot of quality, and we've seen that because he's trained with the first team on a number of occasions last season as well. But this season is the first time we've really got our eyes on Jack on a regular basis, and he's shown up very well. He's a lovely footballer, natural footballer, and we'll continue to work with him, and it's been great to have those kids around the first team as well.
You've added 5 new players so far. Are there areas of the team that you still want to strengthen?
Yeah, look, I think this is a smaller group than we've had. We shed players at the end of last season, players who had come to the end of their contracts. We felt that it was a need to freshen the team and freshen the club a little bit. So we've tried to do that. At this minute in time, I would think that we're still a little bit light in 2 or 3 areas, and we've continually worked. Really, we've myself and Andy Cousins in particular, but the rest of the coaching staff and the recruitment team in particular have worked since the season finished, really, in terms of what players will be available, what targets will be available, the cost of those, and obviously trying to get new players in. So we know that there's still probably 2 or 3 players where we would like to, which would, I think, give us just a little bit more depth, a little bit more experience in certain areas as well, because I think with the younger players, like the Championship is a demanding league. It's in many ways, I think at times it's more difficult to come into the Championship for a young player than it would be to come into the Premier League and play, you know, on a consistent basis. But I think a lot of those young players will get opportunities this season as well.
Is it important to remain patient in these sort of situations, not jump in at the first possible player?
Yeah, it is. We've had to be. We've walked away from more deals than actually we've done. We've been quite conscious about the types of players we've brought to the club in terms of the age, where they are in their careers, I suppose their athletic profile, as well as what they bring as quality in terms of being a footballer. And you know, I think we wanted to get players who are on their way up, really, is I suppose the best way to describe it, and that's what we've tried to do. So it isn't easy because, you know, we're in a situation where obviously we're not spending money, so we're looking at the best free agents that are available. Some of those are out with our price range in terms of the financial demands of those players and their agents. And then the other market really is the loan market, which obviously we've dipped into with Gavin Kilkenny and Harry Clark so far. And you know, that market is going to be important. It's important to all the Championship clubs, particularly at this minute in time, and particularly with the financial landscape of the Championship as well.
In terms of the game tonight, does that allow you an opportunity to test some things out that you've worked on in training this week?
Yeah, we've played pretty much. We've worked very hard on the shape of the team, and the structure of the team, and system of play. So hopefully we'll see that in the games, in the game today. It's still early on, you know. It's only their second game. The game that we played last Saturday against Leeds was a very competitive game. 2 very good 45 minutes, played at a good intensity and a good tempo against, you know, Leeds had some real quality players on the pitch as well. This will be different because these players are not at that level, but what they are is they're in mid-season, they're having a good season, they're obviously top of their league, trying to get promoted into the Premier League here in Ireland. So, and like all Irish lads, they'll be keen to prove to us that they've got something to offer. So I think it'll be a competitive game today, and you know, the next step in terms of, you know, our progress and our preparation for obviously the start of the season in 3 weeks' time.
You mentioned the start of the season there in 3 weeks' time. Are you starting to get excited now?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think what, you know, if we take the next 2 weeks, for example, from today, you know, we're going to play Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, which is pretty much what we'll have to do in the Championship season. We have a nice lead-in week into the opening game away at Millwall. So yeah, I think we'll build a little bit of the I suppose the endurance into the players as well as what's expected of them in the next 2 weeks, and the training probably will change a little bit in the next 2 weeks to be really much more like how we would train in season. I think like they've done a lot of the hard work and, you know, a lot of the leg work in the first 3 weeks, and this is, I suppose, the first day of a 2 week period where it'll mirror more what the season will be like going forward.
In terms of the season itself, in the last 2 you've managed to start really well, but faded. Is the objective then this season to sustain that push towards the top 6? Yeah,
look, we were disappointed to you know, I suppose in both seasons where we were in a position where we felt a strong second half of the season would allow us to challenge for a playoff position. You know, I think we've looked at that quite closely in terms of the makeup of the squad as well. And also, you know, possibly, you know, we maybe shuffle things a little bit too much in January when we brought players in, and there's always a tendency to do that. You know, clubs are always pushing, you're always trying to improve your squad at that point in time as well, and maybe players come in, don't settle, and it doesn't work for you as you'd hoped, you know. But certainly, you know, we had that period, particularly last season, where we had, you know, a lot of narrow defeats or draws where, you know, just different moments in games, and our season could have been very different. So we're keen to obviously address that next season, or this season coming rather.
Do you feel with some of younger players now, a bit more experience, that'll help you?
Well, yeah, I think so. You know, I think we have to be patient. You know, we've also, you know, we've been a little bit unfortunate with, I think, bad injuries to key players as well. You know, obviously, you know, Harry Souttar's an example of that. He won't be fit for the start of the season. Nick Powell has now picked up an injury in pre-season. We were without Nick for a lot of last season as well. Tyrese Campbell, coming back last season, and now Tyrese has had a full pre-season behind him. Hopefully we'll see the benefit of that in terms of his performance and consistency as well. It's a big year for him. But I think now that those players, the likes of Josh Timon, the likes of Jacob Brown, they're now big players in our team. Also, the likes of Lewis Baker and Josh Laurent are at a really good age where they're going to be. Jordan Thompson, they have to become main players in this team now going forward, and that's we're putting their trust in them. We believe they can be. Ben Wilmot comes into that category as well, and then we've got a nice, we've got experienced players around them, and Jagielka, Flint, Klukas. There are 3 players at the minute in our squad that are, in their 30s, but they're still very fit and still very capable. But this is a younger squad and a younger team, so those younger players are going to have to, as I say, be the mainstay of the team.